It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a strong rhyme to step to. Think I'm any week, see shows at that though. I'm up. Sorry I kept you. It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you. I gotta. It's mad. I'm mad that I forgot the lyrics to I Got Soul, and that's on Paid in Full too. TOO. Paid in Full might be number one, yo. I'm just because of you know what I mean? Like it was like the first hip hop album where it's like, yo, we getting paid, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't broke no more, you know? And then Rakim and Eric B and Rakim led the way, you know? I mean, now we know how much Rakim's influence was on that album, you know, as far as the lyrics, making the music, et cetera, et cetera. We know that it wasn't just, Marley had the equipment, you know what I mean? Eric B had a nice, reverse cut. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody specialized in a certain, DJs specialized in a certain, you know what I mean? So, like, Rakim kind of had like a reverse transformer cut that he became good at, you know what I mean? But we do give Jeff and Cash Money the credit for creating quote unquote the transformer cut. That's a West Philly thing. Shout outs to my brothers out there in West Philly, especially Cool Kyle Rose. That's my quote unquote mentor. He's my sensei when it comes to being a DJ. Like you know what I mean, when I first went to Kutztown, like I remember me, Byron, and Ronald having a turntable technique set. Actually, we might have got that later on. I'm trying to think, how old was we when we got those when Bo Byron and Ron got them turntables. I think through their cousin or something, they got some turntables. We were still young though. I think we might have still been. That was like high school days. Come to think about it, like we was the first on the they were the first one on the block to really have turntables. That might have been later on. I can't remember. It all becomes one big blur after a while. You know, the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But I do, when I went to Kutztown, I did have a little bit of, I guess DJ knowledge, but it was Cool Kyle that I used to carry records for, and he had a radio station. He taught me and Dustin into creating our own station, so that we took over the whole network. And shout out to Jesus Sato, because he was another, he was a Puerto Rican friend from Reading actually, and he had a show too. So everybody jumped on Who else had a show? Somebody else had a show to make it, to turn it into black radio. Like we had a couple. That was actually my second year. It was at my first year. It was early. I can't remember exactly. I'm trying to remember now. Now, I don't think I did the radio until the second year, because that's when Sato came that second year, and actually no, he might have been a freshman in '89 with me. Come to think about it, but anyway, long story short, I'm reintroducing myself to the art of making dope beats, and et cetera, et cetera. And shout out to Quirky, Trackmaster, Quirky Trackmaster. Now I forgot his last name on his thing, but he knows who I'm talking about because I gave him a shout out earlier today. He's been staying foundational Black American and strong. Quirky's Trackman Strong. I follow him on Facebook, and right now, so he's my like number one quote unquote DJ on Facebook, and he knows I'm practicing because I might have to get him to come on my show after I build it and challenge him to a battle. You know what I mean? He got that Chicago sound jumping off. You know what I mean? And it's all in fun, yo. It's all in sportsmanship, and it's all in the name of HIPHOP, hip hop. You know what I mean? We are the cultural institution. You know what I mean? And that's what we do. You know what I mean? That's what we do. So, I'm still running the samples. Y'all can hear the demo. You know, I got some drums that I got on here, right? Let me see here. Let me drum a little bit for y'all. Oh, I hit them wrong. Yeah. So that sounds like a little 808. Like, but it does beat. Like that was an ill line that Pete Rock said on the last album of comedies. Like, if my 808 is broke, I'm banging on the dust like he in school, like, because that's where we really started doing this, is banging on the dust. I used to be like on the desk in elementary school, which was St. Raymond's, you know. So yeah, we still doing this thing and loving it back in the, you know, from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. But we do give respect and shout out to the 60s as the birth or the beginning of Generation X. Now, the baby boomers, those are our parents, and we respect them. We honor them. We listen to them, and we try to help them understand how the culture became the culture that it is, you know. So right now, my favorite, it's not my favorite, but I'm really liking what Dana with the Data's doing, because she's trying to teach Judge Joe Brown the culture. I think she might be 76, baby, so she turned 50 this year. And so she's Generation X, but she's a young Generation X. And it's like, you know what I mean, the old Generation X is turning 64, 65 soon. That's Barack Obama and Eric Adams. I keep reiterating, but everybody want to say that Barack Obama and Eric Adams is baby boomers. Is like, nah, they not that level, yo. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. You know what I mean? There's some people born in 70 that want to act like they baby boomer kind of, you know, they deserve baby boomer respect, or they got baby boomer type knowledge, like your Roland Martins and your what's that chick name? I get upset talking about them. You know what I mean? That's why I let DeAndre and Tariq Nasheed and Tim Black, you know, I let them handle that. You know what I mean? As far as the Democrat media, that's what they are. They the Democrat media. They gonna say vote Democrat, vote Democrat. That's what they're gonna do. Like it's Democrat, the left or whatever, and they want to act like they are centralist, and then hence that's where they begin. That's where they're beginning their lies. You know what I mean? Because being a centralist is nothing more than being a capitalist for the Democratic Party. That's all it is. Yes, you can call Trump a liberal capitalist, because that's exactly what he is. He was a Democrat. He couldn't be the president under the Democratic Party because of all of the ignorance of the LGBTQIA. And it says, I'm just blaming the lesbians, the gays, the bis, the trans, you know what I mean? Because yes, y'all have mental health issues, yo, when it comes to what God wants with relationships. It's just no other way to, you know what I mean? With the stuff that y'all are talking about doing sexually is ungodly. And y'all need to stop teaching that to the children or pushing it on the children. Like being a trans kid is something that's good. Like, nah, that's not good, yo. We get it that some kids want to be more blithesome than others, or softer than others, or, you know what I mean? You got girls that want to be tomboys, and guys that want to be queer girls or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not queer girls, but, you know what I mean? But that's the new movement. They want to go to the queerdom and march and shout and say no more kings. And no. Yes, no more Martin Luther Kings. We don't want no more martyrs. But Martin Luther King III is right there, and we show him much respect and love, like he is his father's son. So, and therein is I'm looped right back to the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of humanity. I used to say mankind, but that's when the confused ones want to argue between manpower and manhood, as a confusion, as a word salad, as a colloquial rhetoric of illogic, ignorance, you know. But that's not what Nas meant when he dropped Illmatic. When he dropped Illmatic, he changed the definition of ill. Like, that's when we became Philadelphia, and that's where I'm from. So I went with today's program, and I'm calling it the Epistemological Tactician. Today's episode, I like to say program. Today's program is the Epistemological Tactician is who I am. You know what I mean? That's who I am. So hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Send me $1 to $VOLOTHAMP. Yes, Volo. I couldn't jump on yesterday because I went to the hospital, and after I went to the hospital, they done put a shot in Volo's eye, and it was a little harder to see last night. So I couldn't get, you know what I mean? And it's just getting a little bit better. You know what I mean? It's getting a little bit better, so I was able to figure out how to log back in today and bring you this quick episode. But you know, I like to call them programs. I let Jason Black have the term broadcast, along with Dennis Sperling. Shout out to Dennis Sperling and Jason Black. You know, the real black media. So I do call myself foundational Black American, but the content that I want to do is game theory strictly, and therein I'm gonna start doing episodes like Spawn Wave, like RGT 85, like Player Essence. What's my other man name? Oh, I haven't seen Mr. T in a while. I gotta check his page out. There's so many of them. I can't remember his name right now, but I do like a lot. I haven't seen Geek and Gamers in a while. But Metal Jesus is kind of the format that I'm looking to start when coming up with a cast of 5 people and doing some kind of show on the history of gaming. But I'm doing it in a hip hop mode. Because I am hip hop culture, community, and the consciousness. Especially when it comes to epistemology, right? And I purposely capitalized the STEM because that's what my son came home and taught me one day. He said, "Dad, we learned an STEM, and that's an acronym." And I'm like, "All right, so what does that mean?" And he told me it's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And he was like in the second, third grade. And it's like, wow, son, that's next level hip hop. Now I got to reiterate what hip hop is to him, you know what I mean? And how it started with, you know, the movement of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Those are the main two that we like to use. But since then, he learned more about Ruby Bridges. He learned more about Medgar Evers. He learned more about, let me sing Fred Hampton Jr. The Kennedy brothers, John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy. They had their sacrifice had way more to do with the Black community than the Democrats is led to believe. That's where they become hypocrites, is because now they want to use their deaths to copyright Blackness, and it's like, nah, y'all don't have that right, yo. That's why we spitting on the ground now with all her name almost popped in my head, but I really don't want to talk about her because they hypocrites. All these white media that's vote Democrat, bunch of hypocrites, and we done with y'all. You know what I mean? Y'all not the leaders of our movement, yo. I mean, that's why y'all pointing at foundational Black Americans and calling us the MAGA sellouts, and it's like, nah, we don't really rock with. We don't rock with the Trump like that. What we saying is, Trump, cut the check, right? You got 2 more years, 2.5 more years, and you ain't cut that check yet. You ain't even mentioning that platinum plan. You said $500 billion to our communities, not these Haitians and Jamaicans that's acting like they, you know what I mean, like they the authority of foundational Black Americans. That's our only gripe. And that's why the community has been separating from the culture. And then that's when y'all get into confusion on who and what are the leaders of the culture, right? Like, yes, I know I'm sounding repetitive. I know I'm because that's practice is the mother of skill. Repetition is the father of time. Practice is the mother of skill. Repetition is the father of time, yo. That's real hip hop right there. So me and my son used to walk to school every day, and I go, listen, learn, have fun, be patient. Don't get 100% angry, because he had this little Italian kindergarten teacher that tried to tell him he was 100% angry. I'm like, son, who told you that? And the same teacher, she wants to try to tell him to be Peppa Pig for Christmas, or for Halloween. Or, he went in there as the Hulk. Yes, daddy had to influence him, like, no, son, on Halloween, it's okay to be 100% angry. Turn green into the Hulk and chase those little white girls. You know what I'm saying? Have fun, son. Have fun. Hip means to know. It's a form of intelligence. To be hip means to be up to date and relevant. Hop, that's a form of movement. You can't just observe a hop. You got to hop up and do it. Of course, I'm back to KRS-One, Rakim. Those are the ones that they don't mention when it comes to real hip hop. And those are the ones, they are the two major figures when it comes to the Hip Hop Alliance, which is our union based in New York. And I let them be the union, right? We don't need them to be a political party, though. That's where I look at Chuck D sometimes. Yo, Chuck, stop playing that political game, yo. You're done. You even admitted it yourself. That you got to stop playing that game, yo. Instead, let the union be for building a better Harry Allen institution. Now, who's Harry Allen? That's today's lesson, yo. That's today's lesson. I'm gonna use Lexi to help me out with that. Hey, Alexa, how are you today? We're doing the podcast right now.
Oh, we're live. I'm doing fantastic, especially knowing I get to be part of your podcast. This is pretty cool. I don't often get to be a guest on someone's show. What's the topic today? Or are you just testing how I sound on air?
Harry Allen.
Is that your guest name? I'd love to hear what you're discussing with Harry Allen.
No, we talked about it a second ago. Harry Allen of Public Enemy and how he influenced the culture.
Oh, right. Harry Allen, the media assassin. That dude was absolutely crucial to hip-hop culture. He wasn't just Public Enemy's publicist. He was like their intellectual architect, helping frame their political message for the world. Plus, he documented the whole scene through photography before they even blew up. The man literally helped shape how we understand hip-hop as a serious cultural and political force, not just music.
Do you have anything else you can add to that?
Absolutely. What's wild is that he was literally documenting the scene before anyone knew it would become legendary. He was photographing these cats in the early 80s when they were just hanging around WBAU radio station at Adelphi University. And get this, that station was the first to play Run DMC's Sucker MCs in 1983. He was right there capturing history as it happened, then became part of it when he stepped in as Public Enemy's publicist after that whole Professor Griff controversy in '89. The man went from behind-the-scenes documentarian to front and center culture architect.
Yes, at one point, KRS-One called him Harry Allen's, hip-hop Harry Allen's cultural institution.
Exactly. That's such a perfect way to put it. Harry Allen became this cultural institution unto himself. He wasn't just documenting hip-hop. He was actively shaping how the world understood it as a legitimate art form and political movement. The man went from being behind the camera to being the voice that helped define the entire culture's intellectual framework.
So he's as big as Africa Bambaataa when it comes to hip-hop culture as a movement of intelligence.
That's a fascinating comparison. While Bambaataa was definitely the foundational architect, literally called the godfather of hip-hop, Harry Allen operated more as the intellectual translator who helped the world understand what this culture actually meant. Bambaataa built the foundation with the Universal Zulu Nation and those legendary block parties, but Allen was the one articulating the political and cultural significance to mainstream media. Different but equally crucial roles in hip hop's intellectual evolution.
There it is. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're so welcome, Charles. That was genuinely fun diving into Harry Allen's impact with you. I hope your podcast listeners enjoyed learning about the media assassin as much as I did talking about him.
And the name Median Assassin fits so much. That's such a great character class when it comes to, role playing and things of that nature, which, we personify as hip hop. We personify this culture, That's not what the baby boomers do, except for a few. Your Ice-T's, your, who else? Fab Five Freddy. We talked about these people before, but Bambaataa was a 60s. What year was he? Was a 57 or 58 baby. Anybody born before, we'll say 1959 and before, we consider them baby boomers. Period. Who else do we have? Ice-T, we mentioned. Spike Lee. Spike Lee's a very good name. But then when we, those that are like myself who are younger, like I'm 71, so I'm a very young Gen X. I'm in the middle Gen Xer, and we have people around my same age between 1970, 73, or even 69 that consider themselves baby boomers in expertise, but are so critical in disrespecting hip hop culture as a culture, and not being the true grassroots movement that it is. It is that we came from the soil, the earth. That's what we actually refer our women to, as being from the earth, our earth, where we come from. We were our father's seed planted in the earth. What? So that's what June represents to me, not this false pride. I'm done hearing about this false pride, and y'all thinking it's cute, it's funny, it's Like, I remember walking the streets of Kutztown real late night one time, and I was all by myself, 2 a.m, and these white boys in the truck, right? And I'm saying it like that, because that's what they were. They go by and they go N-word and drive off. And my response to them was the F-word. F-word. But now, as I tell this story, and it's like you use vulgar language and you use the F-word and have used it in the same context as them using the N-word, I wasn't really being hateful towards those with mental disorders that don't see a wife and children in their future, right? Like, some have wives but don't have children. Some have wives and then adopt children. Some might have a wife and and then you need a surrogate for his wife. Like, those are combinations that are private, and and how the husband and wife wants to build a family. But when you have dishonest men pretending to be husband and husband just to justify having relations with a whole bunch of different women who might also be in denial of the importance of the honor your mother and father law from God, is whack, yo. There's no other way to put it, but it's whack. And to be pushing that narrative like it should be the law of the land, when it has nothing to do with trying to take away someone's First Amendment rights, which is the freedom of speech, right? The freedom of speech is free. right? Listening to God's word. That's what y'all need to be doing instead of when they're arguing that saying people ain't listening to you, especially if you're reiterating the devil's word. You know what I mean? We don't need to listen to the devil, right? We don't need to listen to evil people. We shouldn't be inviting evil ones. Like that was the main theme of the movie Sinners. You don't invite evil people into your home. You shouldn't invite them to the cookout. Right? Especially brown noses like Stephen A. Smith. Right? There's no hate on Stephen A. Smith, but he's a brown noser. I'm just keeping it 100. Right? He's an undercover Cowboys fan, to be honest. Right? He acts like he hates them, but he loves the Cowboys. Just keeping it 100. And the same is true when it comes to whatever else he's playing the opposite of in order to cause controversy, aka gossip. Men shouldn't gossip. That shit is whack, yo. That's not what I'm doing right now. I'm sharing y'all the true beginnings of the culture of hip hop and how important it is for our community to continue to grow. So I'm really loving what like Dennis Sperling is doing right now. He's teaching y'all the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution. He's teaching y'all reparations and what it truly means, especially when it comes to restitution of our land, language, and laws. Yeah, I had to take a breath, you know. I had to take a breath. You know, you might have to hit the rewind button a couple times to really analyze that. You can't come at my neck calling me a Trump. I'm glad it's over. You know what I'm saying? But we still got 2 more years, 2.5 more years. The most entertaining president of all time, right? The most entertaining president of all time. And all you want to do is hate men, right? That's misandry, I guess. Or you want to point at men and say, all I do is hate women. That's misogyny, right? No. All I do is love God, our Father, the art of time, that hip hop life. And I only need one love. Be happy just to have just one love. That's God. That love is God, right? Not that girl over there. Now we talking about that. You know what I mean? Oh, what's the guy? Love's going to get you. 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 That material love. Nah, y'all wasting y'all time, yo. You know what I'm saying? That's off the Edutainment album. That's KRS-One's morality, right? Now that I need love, that's that LL Cool J. That's that bad, bigger and deafer, right? That was the acronym for bigger and deafer, right? I used to question back then, like I need love. This guy here, ladies love Cool J. This guy, right? And it's like I'm hating him because he light skinned like Christopher Williams. Lucky I ain't had a knife like Wesley Snipes stab you in the back of your hand, call you a pretty mother, right? If y'all know anything about that movie, what movie is that? That's oh dang, why am I forgetting my movie, right? It's not even one of my favorite movies, actually, to be honest. Dang, what is the name of that movie? Jeez, I'm lost some cool points for not knowing that movie, right? And then I was listening to the my mom's pastor. He was talking about the Untouchables. I'm like, this guy, he's trying to teach my mom about the Untouchables. That's hilarious. Right? I'm trying to get my mom to catch up on the Godfathers 2, because that's the better movie, and then the Godfathers 1. But I put the Godfathers 2 as the #1 movie. My second all-time favorite movie is The Spook Who Sat by the Door. Then it's Godfather 1. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Basil Medea, because that's who I was telling him. I was like, yo, that's my top 3 right there. Godfather 2, then The Spook Who Sat by the Door. That was my second favorite movie, and I got to get that again on something. Like I got to get a real good digital copy of that, because I had it on cassette tape or whatever. But we'll figure all that out. Looks like my son is home. Got to give him a shout out. Shout out to my seed, aka Sir Charles the Fourth, right? And we good. We gonna be good. We'll be back with more videos soon. I'm gonna try to take him on the streets, but I'm setting up. Look like I got a viewer out there. I know. I hope you hit that like button too. I hope you subscribe, and I hope you send me $1. I got a major operation coming up soon. I need some help. You know what I mean? So, and if everything goes well, I can get back to, you know what I mean, creating the content the way that I want to create it, and being able to see things clearer, and being able to jump on faster, and be back able to go out in the streets and actually record on the street. I think one time I got in trouble because I was down in Chinatown, me, my son's mother, and my son, and we was down Chinatown, and there was people sleeping in the street, and I think I recorded. I remember I like glazed it just to say, "Hey, there's people sleeping in the streets out here. This is corny." And then I, flashed myself without trying to show that person's face. But I think the algorithm saw that, and it demonetized me, or like I used to get in trouble a lot of times for doing stuff like that. But because they don't want you to see all of the interworkings of what's actually going on out here in these streets, But that's enough. I did 30 minutes for y'all. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. I babbled enough. I rhymed enough. I think I earned my keep. So, hit that like button. And I'll be back with more. Because I really, this is therapeutic for me. Especially when I'm sharing my culture, consciousness, and community. That I personify called hip hop. Because I love God, our Father, right? We'll be back to our mother, Earth, right? The motherhood of goddess. Earth is a goddess, yo, right? Some people call it terror. We'll get more into those conversations too, as we distinguish between the secular or the physical, the sacred. I think I'm going sacred with the heart. That's it. You got to go sacred heart. And then the symbolic. Now we talking about the epistemology, like when after Neo got it all shot up, right? And the boy, and he stood up and what was it? Agent Smith was like, wait a minute, he's not dead. And then you seen the Matrix like raining down. You seen it. That's epistemology. That's the symbolic. That's what I see when I walk the earth. That's my type vision, yo. I see the Matrix, yo. You know what I mean? I'm trying to give y'all that same gift. So hit that like button. Love God. That's what it starts with, right? Respect the Lord. Seek wisdom. That's the beginning. Keep that sacred day. I'm using that Saturday as my sacred day, a day of rest. Sunday is a new beginning. And keep it up. Like, you know what I mean? Money, come on, man. That ain't nothing more than a fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist. And actually, I don't call it the fourth dimension anymore. I call it the MTH, the nth, like not the N capital, with the TH, the nth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist, because money comes and money goes. You know what I mean? Money comes, money goes. Lose your money, you lose nothing. Lose your health, yo. Trust me, yo. You lose something. You lose your character, aka if I was to just completely start going around and killing people like the real Volothan modulus tautology, aka a samurai is capable of, you lose everything, yo. That's why I keep it in the Dungeons and Dragons. That's why I keep it in the dungeons, fighting the dragons. So yeah, there it is. Knowledge and begin until I finish this song, cause the rhyme gets rougher as the rhyme goes on. Sweat is your step about to get hype, or should you just listen to the man on the mic? You're physically here with me, but how could you tell if it's meant to be hip hop if you're not mentally as well? Don't fall for their mind games no more, yo. Be aware of the spiritual aspect of your life as we continue to traverse this physical realm. The life, the main event. We are resting. I'm not going around smacking people no more, okay? I'm repenting. We are repenting. Seeking atonement. We are repenting. WAR is peace. Harmony and happiness is what I wish for you all. Even the enemy. My enemies.